Well, we got a lot to get to. Let's start off with the documentary you first saw it, the Woo documentary on Peacock. Everybody, go out of your way to see it. If you're watching this and haven't seen it, I don't know what you're doing with your life. But great documentary. I've seen all of them. This was a very good one. We had the family gather around right after Christmas and was able to watch it. Had ladies in the room that were not wrestling fans. I had my niece here, was 12, and was going. I said, "Do you even know who Ric Flair is?" She goes, "Everybody knows who Ric Flair is," and she was fascinated with it as well. So, how did you think? Just the overall umbrella before we kind of dive into who was in it and what they said. Overall, what did you think of the final product?
Well, I thought it was very fair, very good, and I thought, once again, with the exception of Bischoff, I thought that everybody spoke very. I mean, more than I was thrilled at what some of the people had to say, and I just want to start it off by saying that the only mistake that Bruce said, and Bruce, of course, and I are very close friends, is I didn't anticipate being the biggest star up there. That's the only thing Bruce said wrong because I was never a big star up there. I was a bigger star probably the second time I went back um, at 52 years of old, at 52 years of age than I was even then because people didn't know who I was. I just wasn't on their TV. So I thought Bruce was spot on. Thought he was great. I'm just overwhelmed with what Austin said, Taker. But those are my friends, and to have that many celebrities, I'm close with Stephen A. I guess I just looked at it and said, boy, these are all my friends. And how lucky am I? I mean, I'll see Bruce in a couple of days. I think the world of Bruce. But the only thing he said is wrong is I didn't go up there thinking I'd be the biggest star. I just was glad to get out of WCW. That's the
Yeah,
only thing that Bruce said that was inaccurate.
I
I
had a.
never, I just wanted to get the hell out of town, and I certainly didn't think I was going to win the Royal Rumble. That was never even talked about.
Never.
Never.
When
No.
did you know you were going?
Well, believe it or not, Jake Roberts told me that day in the gym, and I didn't believe Jake.
Really?
Yeah, he said, "Here you go. Congratulations! I hear you're going to win it." I have. I said, "What are you talking about?" I was. It's the last thing I was thinking about. I was just so glad to be away and be with friends that were real. You know what I
Um,
mean?
I thought that I was going to bring up the fact that I thought Eric was kind of on brand for Eric. I think he kind of stood his ground and said what he always says. But in my mind, Bruce had some of the. I mean, it was quick, but he had some jabs. I thought, like you first when you mentioned, he said, "Hey, Rick thought he was going to come in and be the top guy, and he just wasn't a top guy."
I
Um,
wasn't. I wasn't. I don't mind that at all.
Always good to see Barry. Have you heard? Have you heard? Have you heard any updates lately? Of course, wishing him the best, and
Yeah, he
hopefully
got
he's
a
good.
stint. He got a stint. He's up and running. He's doing well.
Good. That's good, man.
He's hard to get a hold of. I've called him 10 times. He just doesn't answer his phone. I've got that blocked ID, but I'm going to in the next couple of weeks. He lives outside of Gainesville, I heard now, with Julie. So I'm gonna drive over there and see him. But God, you talk about one of the great workers of all time. His name just gets jumped over all the time. Man, he could work. Wow.
He was incredible, and it was good to see him. And it's good to hear the update from you of hey, he's
Yeah.
doing good. By the way, if anybody out there is watching this and want to help him out, I know he's got a GoFundMe for all his expenses coming up. Rick, you know as much as anybody, those medical expenses start piling up. You can have the best insurance in the world.
He's talked about me and Eric not and I'm not even mad at Eric anymore, but it's important that people know the real story, and as long until the story is really straightened out, and if I gotta have Bill Watts come on the show or Bill Shaw, I will. I did not make my deal with Eric to come back. I made it with Bill Watts. And he got in trouble over a comment he made about Hank Aaron. I can't remember what it was. And he was gone when I landed there, and Ole Anderson was the boss. And Ole said to me, "What good are you to me after you just did a job on national TV for Kurt Hennig last night, or whatever it was?" And I said, "I'll tell you how I feel about that comment." And I walked next door to Bob Dew, and I said, "Bob, it's me or Ole. Make up your mind. I can fly back to New York tomorrow. I did not leave on bad terms."
And he said,
Goodbye, Ole. That's why Ole and I don't get along. He's never gotten over it. I could give a shit. It's the truth.
it was me or Ole.
Yep.
Well, they made their bed, and it was a good bed.
Huh?
I think they did right.
Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, it didn't matter whether I did a job on national TV or not. I did it on national TV,
Right.
and it got a rating. Guess what? WCW was so far gone. He was running WCW the way Vern was running the AWA in the 70s. I mean, really, what good? What I mean, and this had nothing to do with me. What good did it do to have Mick Foley living underground?
Nothing.
That wasn't my call. You know that, right?
Yeah.
What I don't. What was that angle called again?
Or he's living underground.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah.
I can't remember either. But I mean, what? Why would they have him live? I can't remember what it was, but good lord,
That's where he's in a cave, living in a cave.
I don't know.